Creator Mindset. Pursue your passion and build something meaningful. Written and published by Sonic Tome. There's a force inside you, a spark, a restless energy that refuses to stay silent. It doesn't care about comfort or staying within the lines. It's the whisper of something greater, something born from your very core, that wants to create, to push boundaries, and to leave a mark that will outlast the noise of today's distractions. But here's the thing. Most people never let it fully ignite. They follow the familiar path, chase what's easy, settle for what's safe, and in doing so, they dim that inner flame, unsure of how to stoke it, afraid of what it might demand of them. The world tells you to follow trends, to fit in, to do what everyone else is doing, and in that cacophony, your true purpose can get buried. This is for the ones who feel the pull, the ones who know there's more to what they can offer, more to what they can build, and more to what they can leave behind. This is for the creators who understand that what they make can transcend time and trends, shaping something that matters, something that speaks to those who encounter it. True creation isn't about following the rules. It's about discovering what lives beneath them. The part of you that insists on making something that is uniquely yours, something that carries your essence and your voice. It's not about perfection. It's about connection. It's about forging a path that demands attention not because of the accolades, but because of the truth in it. So, if you're ready to push past the surface, to dig deeper into what drives you, and to build something that resonates long after it's created, this is the place to begin. Chapter 1. The Spark Within. At the core of every meaningful creation lies a force that is uniquely yours, a spark that sets your soul alight. This spark isn't something you stumble upon by chance. It is something you uncover through curiosity, reflection, and deliberate action. It's not just about what you're good at. It's about what feels so vital, so intrinsically aligned with your being, that you cannot imagine a life without it. This inner spark often reveals itself in the moments you lose track of time doing something you love. It's the quiet pull toward activities that energize rather than drain you. The whisper that insists, this matters. But many of us silence that whisper, consumed by the noise of expectation, doubt, and practicality. The first step in discovering your spark is to give yourself permission to listen. Not every pursuit has to have a predefined purpose or end goal. Some paths are meant to be explored simply because they call to you. Your spark doesn't always arrive as a thunderclap of inspiration. It often begins as a faint flicker. It could be hidden in the things you loved as a child, buried under the layers of adulthood. Think back to those times when you felt completely free. What were you drawn to? What stories did you tell yourself about who you wanted to be? The answers to these questions may not provide a perfect roadmap, but they can reignite something dormant inside you. To uncover your spark, you need to embrace solitude and silence, not in isolation, but as a practice of tuning in to your inner voice. The modern world bombards us with distractions and demands, making it easy to lose touch with what truly resonates within. Take moments to sit with your thoughts, to journal without filters, to explore what makes your heart beat faster when no one is watching. Your creative fire isn't just about passion, it's also about alignment. Alignment comes when your actions, values, and aspirations converge into a seamless flow. This flow feels effortless, not because it lacks challenges, but because the challenges become part of the joy. When you're aligned with your spark, even setbacks and failures feel like stepping stones rather than obstacles. And then there's courage. Discovering your spark is only the beginning. The real challenge lies in following it. This isn't about making grand declarations or dramatic life changes overnight. It's about the quiet bravery of choosing what feels true to you, even when the world demands conformity. It's about creating in the face of uncertainty, knowing that the value of your work lies not in its immediate reception, but in its authenticity. Your spark has a way of illuminating not just your path, but the paths of others. When you create from a place of genuine connection to your inner fire, your work resonates. It carries an energy that others can feel, drawing them in and inspiring them to seek their own sparks. This isn't about competition or comparison. It's about contribution. Let your spark guide you, fuel you, and challenge you. Trust that it's not fleeting, but something you can tend to and grow, like a flame that transforms with each breath of air. This is where creation begins, not with a finished product, but with the willingness to listen, explore, and nurture the light within. Chapter 2. Beyond the Noise. The world today hums with a relentless symphony of distractions. From the moment you wake to the last seconds before sleep, countless voices compete for your attention, each insisting on its importance. These voices aren't just external, emails, notifications, or conversations. They exist within as well, taking the form of doubts, insecurities, and fleeting desires. To move beyond this chaos, clarity and focus must become your sanctuary. Finding clarity isn't about silencing every noise, but rather learning to distinguish between what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Imagine standing in a crowded room with every person shouting at once. In the midst of it all, someone calls your name, softly but intentionally. That voice is your purpose. Your task is to train your mind to recognize it amid the cacophony. Start by understanding that not all distractions are inherently bad. They can act as mirrors, reflecting the things you fear or avoid. The endless scrolling, the busy work, the habitual escapism, they point to the areas in your life where clarity is lacking. To find focus, you must first confront these distractions, not by shunning them, but by questioning them. Why do they hold your attention? What are they offering that you aren't providing for yourself? True focus arises when you begin to filter your environment and thoughts intentionally. This isn't about withdrawing from the world, but curating it. Surround yourself with people, spaces, and routines that amplify your purpose. Physical environments matter. A cluttered space often mirrors a cluttered mind. But even more significant is the mental landscape you cultivate. Clear away the internal clutter of unresolved emotions and half-hearted commitments. Each mental distraction is a drain on your energy you could channel toward creation. Distractions thrive in ambiguity. When your path is unclear, anything can seem worth your attention. But when you define what truly matters, distractions lose their grip. This isn't a rigid definition, but a fluid understanding of your priorities at this moment in your life. Focus thrives on intentionality, and intentionality demands choices. You cannot pursue everything. To say yes to what matters, you must learn to say no, firmly and without guilt. Another key to moving beyond the noise is creating rituals that anchor your focus. Rituals aren't about productivity hacks or quick fixes. They're about crafting moments that ground you in the present. Whether it's a morning practice that sets your tone for the day, or an evening reflection that recalibrates your direction, these rituals serve as reminders of what you value. They are not about doing more, but about aligning what you do with who you are. Your relationship with technology also plays a critical role. The tools meant to connect and empower us often turn into sources of distraction. But these tools are not the enemy. It's how we engage with them that matters. Use them consciously. Set boundaries that protect your focus, creating spaces where the world's demands cannot intrude. In the process of finding focus, patience becomes your ally. Clarity isn't a destination, it's a practice. You will stray, and that's okay. What matters is your ability to return to center. Over time, the noise becomes less daunting, and your focus sharpens like a lens adjusting to bring the world into view. Beyond the noise lies a space of profound stillness, not emptiness, but presence. It's where creativity flows without resistance, where each action feels purposeful. This space isn't given, it's earned through consistent, intentional effort. And once you find it, you realize it was never about eliminating distractions, but about strengthening your connection to what truly matters. Chapter 3. The Alchemy of Ideas. Ideas are elusive, often arriving unannounced, unrefined, and without form. They can strike during the most mundane moments or remain dormant until you actively seek them. But having an idea, even a brilliant one, is not enough. The true magic lies in its transformation. the process of turning an intangible concept into something real, something that matters. This process is the alchemy of ideas. Every idea begins as a spark, a fragment of a larger vision. At this stage, it doesn't need to be perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress when it comes to creativity. What matters is capturing it before it fades. Write it down, sketch it, or speak it aloud, whatever preserves its essence. Ideas are fleeting, and without anchoring them, they risk slipping back into the void. Once an idea is captured, the work of refinement begins. This is where many stumble, mistaking the raw form of an idea for its final version. But an unpolished idea is like raw ore. It holds potential, but it needs to be worked on to reveal its true value. This phase requires patience and a willingness to test, adapt, and sometimes discard parts that don't fit. Not every piece of an idea belongs in its final creation. To transform an idea into something impactful, you must allow it to evolve. This means letting go of rigid expectations and embracing the unexpected directions it may take. Ideas often grow through exploration, by asking questions, seeking connections, and diving deeper into their meaning. What is the core truth this idea holds? What does it aim to solve, express, or inspire? Digging into these questions reveals layers you may not have initially noticed. The alchemy of ideas also demands courage. Bringing an idea to life means exposing it to the world, knowing it will be judged, misunderstood, or even dismissed. But ideas are not meant to remain safe in the confines of your mind. Their power lies in their ability to spark change, challenge perspectives, or evoke emotion. To create something impactful, you must be willing to take that risk. Collaboration can act as a catalyst in this transformation process. Sharing your ideas with trusted individuals opens the door to perspectives you may not have considered. Feedback is not a threat to your vision, it's an opportunity to refine and strengthen it. But choose wisely. Seek input from those who understand your intentions and can offer constructive insights rather than criticism for its own sake. Discipline is another crucial element of this transformation. Creativity is often romanticized as spontaneous and unrestrained, but the most impactful creations are born from consistent effort. Set aside time to work on your ideas, even when inspiration feels absent. Treat the process with the same seriousness as any other commitment. Ideas need nurturing, and the act of showing up regularly is how they begin to take shape. It's also essential to remember that not every idea will lead to a masterpiece. Some ideas are stepping stones, helping you refine your craft and gain clarity for the next one. The value of an idea isn't always in its final form, but in what it teaches you along the way. Approach each creation with humility and openness, recognizing that the journey is as important as the result. As your idea takes form, focus on the details. Impact lies in the subtleties, the things that others might overlook, but that breathe life into your creation. This is where the emotional connection is forged, where your audience feels seen, understood, or inspired. Pay attention to these moments, for they are the difference between something that is merely good and something that resonates deeply. The alchemy of ideas is an ongoing cycle of experimentation, failure, discovery, and growth. It requires you to trust the process even when the outcome is unclear. The path from raw thought to impactful creation is rarely linear, but it's in this process that the magic happens. It's where an idea transforms not just into something tangible, but into something that has the power to leave a lasting imprint. Chapter 4. Rhythms of Productivity. Productivity is not about doing more, but about doing what matters with purpose and intention. It's a dance between effort and rest, a rhythm that keeps your creativity alive and thriving. This balance isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you cultivate by tuning into the natural flow of your energy, focus, and inspiration. The modern world glorifies the hustle, but endless work without pause drains the spirit. Creativity is not a faucet that you can keep on indefinitely. It's more like a tide, rising and receding, and understanding this natural ebb and flow is key to sustaining your productivity. Pushing through when the tide is low only leads to frustration and diminished results. The rhythm of productivity lies in honoring these cycles, allowing space for both intense creation and intentional recovery. Begin by observing yourself. When do you feel most energized, focused, and inspired? Everyone has peaks and valleys in their day, and aligning your tasks with these natural highs can transform how you work. Reserve your most demanding creative tasks for when your energy is at its peak, and use the quieter moments for planning, reflection, or less intensive activities. This approach isn't rigid, it's about working with your internal rhythm instead of against it. Structure plays an essential role in maintaining these rhythms. A loose framework for your day gives direction without stifling spontaneity. Set boundaries to protect your creative time. Turn off distractions, create a dedicated space, and communicate your needs to those around you. Structure isn't about restriction. It's about creating the freedom to focus fully on what you love without interruption. While consistency is crucial, so is variety. Creativity flourishes when you challenge your mind in different ways. Break free from repetitive routines by experimenting with new approaches, environments, or mediums. A change of scenery or a shift in how you approach a project can reignite your passion and offer fresh perspectives. Rest is often overlooked but is an integral part of the rhythm. It's not just about sleeping or stepping away, but actively engaging in activities that rejuvenate your mind and body. This could be as simple as a walk in nature, reading something unrelated to your work, or even letting your mind wander freely. These moments of rest create the mental space for ideas to incubate and grow. The rhythm of productivity also relies on self-awareness. Learn to recognize the signs of burnout before they take hold. When you find yourself drained, irritable, or creatively blocked, it's a signal to pause and recalibrate. This isn't a weakness, but an opportunity to realign with your purpose and regain your strength. Discipline is often seen as the driving force of productivity, but it must be paired with kindness to yourself. Holding yourself accountable is essential, but so is forgiving yourself when you fall short. Productivity is not a race, it's a relationship with your craft, one that evolves over time. Treat it with patience and respect, and you'll find the rhythm that sustains you. Celebrate your wins no matter how small. Acknowledging your progress fuels motivation and reminds you why you began in the first place. Productivity isn't about perfection, but about progress, about moving forward step by step while staying true to what you love. The rhythm of productivity is deeply personal, yet it connects you to something greater, a flow where time seems to dissolve, and you lose yourself in the act of creation. It's not a formula, but a feeling, one that you fine-tune as you learn more about yourself and what makes your creative spirit thrive. It's in this rhythm that the spark of creativity is kept alive, burning brightly without fear of burnout. Chapter 5. The Language of Impact. Every act of creation carries within it a message, an imprint of the creator's intent and vision. This is the essence of the language of impact, the ability to communicate through your work in a way that resonates deeply with others. It's not just about making something, it's about making something that matters, something that lingers long after it's encountered. To create with intention, start by understanding the core of what you wish to express. Strip away the unnecessary layers until you're left with the raw essence of your message. This clarity is what gives your work its power. When you know what you stand for and what you want to convey, it infuses your creation with a purpose that shines through every detail. Intentionality begins with asking the right questions. What do you want people to feel when they experience your work? What change do you hope to inspire? What truths do you wish to reveal? These questions act as guideposts, ensuring that every decision you make, whether it's the color of a brushstroke, the tone of a paragraph, or the choice of materials, aligns with your ultimate vision. The language of impact is not bound by words alone. It speaks through color, texture, movement, silence, and sound. Every element of your creation becomes a part of this language, contributing to a larger narrative. Even the spaces between the elements, the pauses, the contrasts, the moments of stillness, hold meaning. These subtle choices are where the magic often lies, where your audience feels something without knowing exactly why. Creating with intention also requires empathy. To leave a lasting impression, you must step into the shoes of those who will experience your work. This doesn't mean pandering or compromising your vision. It means finding the intersection between your truth and theirs. Impact happens when your creation meets others where they are, offering them something they didn't know they needed. Vulnerability is another cornerstone of impactful creation. The more authentic you are, the more your work will resonate. Let your imperfections show. They are what make your work human and relatable. People connect with honesty, with the raw and unfiltered expression of who you are and what you believe. When you create from a place of vulnerability, you invite others to do the same, fostering a bond that transcends the work itself. Precision is equally important. Impact doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of deliberate choices and meticulous attention to detail. Each element of your creation should serve a purpose, contributing to the overall experience. Remove anything that doesn't add value or distracts from the core message. Simplicity often carries more weight than complexity because it allows your message to shine without interference. The language of impact also thrives on authenticity. Trends may come and go, but work that is rooted in genuine intent and originality endures. Resist the temptation to follow the crowd or mimic what's already been done. Your unique perspective is your greatest asset. It's what sets your work apart and gives it the power to stand the test of time. To leave a lasting impression, consider the ripple effect of your creation. How will it influence those who encounter it? Will it inspire, provoke, comfort, or challenge? The most impactful creations don't just evoke a reaction. They spark a chain of thought, action, or emotion that extends far beyond the initial encounter. This is where your work transcends its form and becomes a catalyst for something greater. Finally, trust the process. The language of impact is not about perfection, it's about connection. It's about creating something that speaks to others in ways that words alone cannot. Each creation is an opportunity to refine this language, to find new ways of expressing the inexpressible, and to leave behind a legacy that resonates long after you've moved on to the next idea. Chapter 6. The Mirror Effect. Growth isn't something you chase, it's something you uncover by looking inward. The mirror effect is the practice of reflecting on your journey, understanding how each step has shaped you, and using those insights to refine your path forward. It's a process of seeing yourself not just as you are, but as you are becoming. Reflection is more than remembering events. It's about extracting meaning from them. Think of every experience as a piece of a larger puzzle. Some pieces will fit perfectly, while others may seem out of place at first. The mirror reveals how even the most challenging moments contribute to the bigger picture. It's in these moments of stillness, of looking into your own story, that the dots begin to connect. To truly learn from the process, you must be honest with yourself. The mirror doesn't lie. It shows the victories and the mistakes, the strengths and the weaknesses. Instead of shying away from what you don't like, face it head on. Ask yourself why it's there and what it's trying to teach you. Growth comes not from avoiding discomfort, but from understanding it and letting it transform you. Every action you take leaves a trace, and the mirror effect allows you to examine those traces. Are they leading you toward the person you want to become? Are they aligned with your values, passions, and goals? Reflection gives you the clarity to adjust your course when necessary, ensuring that you're not just moving, but moving with purpose. The mirror also shows patterns. By looking back, you can identify habits, beliefs, or decisions that either serve or hinder you. Recognizing these patterns gives you the power to change them. Growth is a continuous process of refining your choices, shedding what no longer serves you, and embracing what propels you forward. But reflection isn't solely about the past. It's also about the present. The mirror encourages you to pause and take stock of where you are right now. Are you living authentically? Are you fully engaged in the moment, or are you distracted by what's next? Growth happens in the now, and the mirror reminds you to be present and intentional in your actions. As you grow, the mirror becomes a tool for gratitude. It helps you see how far you've come, the obstacles you've overcome, and the lessons you've learned. Gratitude isn't just about appreciating the good times. It's about finding value in every part of the journey. When you reflect with gratitude, even the struggles take on a new meaning. They become stepping stones instead of roadblocks. The process of reflection isn't passive. It requires effort and courage. It's not always easy to confront your past or acknowledge where you've fallen short. But each time you do, you grow stronger, more self-aware, and more in tune with who you are. The mirror doesn't just show you where you've been. It illuminates where you're headed and the person you're becoming along the way. The mirror effect is also about compassion. When you look back, you might see moments where you could have done better, but it's important to approach these with understanding rather than judgment. Growth thrives in an environment of self-compassion. Acknowledge your humanity, forgive your missteps, and use them as fuel for progress. Through the mirror effect, you cultivate a deep sense of ownership over your journey. Reflection turns growth into an intentional act rather than a byproduct of time passing. It's a reminder that every moment, whether triumphant or difficult, has something to teach you if you're willing to look closely enough. In this way, the mirror becomes a trusted companion, guiding you toward the truest version of yourself. Chapter 7. Bridges to Connection. Creation is more than an act of self-expression. It is a bridge that links your inner world to the hearts and minds of others. Every piece of work you craft carries the potential to connect, inspire, and build relationships that extend far beyond its origin. The art of connection lies in understanding that your work is not just for you. It's for those who will experience it, interpret it, and find meaning in it. To build this bridge, start by tuning into the universal threads that tie us all together. Beneath the surface differences of culture, language, and circumstance lies a shared human experience: joy, struggle, hope, love, and longing. When you tap into these emotions and weave them into your creations, you invite others to walk across the bridge, finding themselves reflected in your work. Connection begins with authenticity. There is a raw, magnetic power in work that comes from a place of truth. People are drawn to what feels real because it speaks to their own truths. When you create without pretense, you offer a piece of yourself that others can relate to, even if their stories differ from yours. This honesty fosters trust, and trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. The bridge you build is not a one-way path, it's an exchange. As much as your work touches others, their responses and interpretations enrich you in return. Each interaction adds layers to the meaning of what you've created, transforming it into something greater than the sum of its parts. This dynamic exchange is what keeps the connection alive, evolving, and impactful. Empathy is the cornerstone of crafting work that resonates. To connect deeply, you must step outside yourself and consider the perspectives, needs, and desires of those who will encounter your creation. This doesn't mean compromising your vision, but rather expanding it to encompass a broader spectrum of experiences. By seeing through the eyes of others, you can create something that feels personal, yet universal. Details matter in building connections. The choice of words, colors, shapes, and sounds can evoke emotions and memories, creating an atmosphere that invites engagement. Thoughtfulness in these details shows care, and care resonates. It tells the audience that their experience matters to you, that you've considered how your work will make them feel, and what it will inspire within them. The bridge to connection is also built on vulnerability. To resonate, you must be willing to reveal not just your strengths, but also your uncertainties and imperfections. People connect with humanity, not perfection. When you allow yourself to be seen in your entirety, you give others permission to do the same, creating a bond that transcends the work itself. Crafting work that resonates requires a deep understanding of the timeless and the timely. Timelessness speaks to the enduring truths that remain relevant across generations, while timeliness addresses the specific context of the present moment. Balancing these elements ensures that your work feels grounded, yet alive, rooted in authenticity while speaking to the now. Your work should leave room for others to bring their own meaning to it. Connection thrives in the spaces where interpretation is invited, where the audience becomes a co-creator of the experience. A song, a painting, a story. They all come alive in the minds of those who engage with them, and this shared creation strengthens the bridge you've built. The act of building these connections is a form of generosity. It's a way of saying, "This is my gift to you. Take what you need, and let it be a part of your journey." Generosity doesn't diminish the creator. It amplifies the impact of the work, extending its reach and deepening its resonance. Bridges are not static structures. They require maintenance and care. As you grow, so will your audience and the ways they interact with your work. Stay attuned to this evolution and let it guide you in crafting new paths to connection. By nurturing these relationships, you ensure that the bridges you build remain strong, enduring, and meaningful. Chapter 8. The Legacy Blueprint. Legacy is not defined by grandeur or wealth, but by the enduring impact of what you leave behind. It is the blueprint of your values, ideas, and contributions woven into the fabric of the lives you touch. To design a path where your creations continue to inspire, you must create with intention and foresight, crafting not just for the moment, but for the timeless potential within your work. The essence of legacy begins with clarity of purpose. Ask yourself what you want your work to say, not just now, but long after you are gone. What message will echo through the spaces your creation occupies? This isn't about obsessing over immortality, but about understanding the ripples your work will send into the world. Clarity allows you to imbue your creations with meaning that transcends trends or fleeting recognition. A lasting legacy demands depth. Superficial creations may catch attention, but it's the layers beneath the surface that leave an indelible mark. These layers are formed by your passion, experiences, and dedication to excellence. Depth doesn't necessarily mean complexity. It's about resonance, the ability of your work to stir something profound in those who encounter it. Consider the human element in your legacy. Impact is felt through connection, and connection thrives on relatability. Your work should reflect your humanity, your struggles, triumphs, and unique perspective. These qualities make your creations approachable and allow others to see themselves in your journey. A legacy built on shared understanding becomes a living entity, passed from one person to another. To create something enduring, focus on adaptability. The world changes, and so do the contexts in which your work will exist. A legacy that endures adapts without losing its core essence. It finds relevance in new circumstances while staying true to the spirit in which it was created. This adaptability often comes from embedding universal truths into your work, truths that remain meaningful regardless of time or place. Crafting a legacy also involves embracing imperfection. The world's most enduring works are not flawless. They are authentic. Imperfections reveal the humanity of the creator and remind others that greatness is not about being without flaws, but about persevering despite them. Your imperfections tell a story of growth, effort, and resilience, which often inspires others more than perfection ever could. A legacy is not just built by what you create, but also by how you create. The integrity and values you bring to your process become part of the blueprint. When your work reflects principles like kindness, courage, and authenticity, it inspires not just through its content, but through its creation. This duality amplifies its impact and ensures its enduring relevance. Generosity is a cornerstone of legacy. Creating with the intent to give something to the world, a thought, a feeling, a spark, opens the door to a deeper connection. Generosity transforms your work into a gift, one that others can carry forward, reinterpret, and build upon. This ripple effect extends the life of your creations far beyond what you could achieve alone. Your legacy is also shaped by how you nurture others, sharing your knowledge, supporting emerging voices, and creating opportunities for others to thrive ensures that the path you've walked remains accessible. In doing so, your influence becomes a foundation for future creators to build upon, making your impact even more enduring. Finally, a legacy is not static. It evolves. The seeds you plant through your work grow in ways you may not anticipate, shaped by those who encounter and interact with it. Be open to this evolution. Embrace the idea that your creations will take on lives of their own, carrying your vision into places you could never have imagined. Designing a legacy blueprint requires patience, intentionality, and a deep belief in the power of your work to endure. Each choice you make, each act of creation, becomes a brick in the foundation of what you leave behind. Over time, these choices build something greater than the sum of their parts, a testament to your unique vision and a lasting source of inspiration for those who follow. Conclusion. You've walked through the process of awakening that spark, understanding your drive, and crafting work that carries meaning beyond the moment. You've learned how to find clarity amidst the noise, how to transform fleeting thoughts into creations with substance, and how to build a rhythm that fuels your creativity without burning you out. You've tapped into the essence of what it means to create with intention, to make an impact, and to reflect on your journey as you move forward. But the journey doesn't stop here. What you've begun doesn't have an expiration date or a finish line. Your creations are not static, they're alive, evolving, and capable of reaching new heights with every step you take. The work you create will continue to grow with you, expanding as your vision deepens and your understanding of what's possible broadens. This isn't just about making something great once. It's about cultivating a mindset that persists, that thrives on the potential of what's yet to be made, and that leaves a legacy not in monuments or awards, but in the connections forged, the impact made, and the inspiration passed along. What you create matters, not because of what it is, but because of what it can become. Your work will touch lives in ways you might not fully understand yet, and that's the beauty of creation. It's a continuous exchange between your ideas and the world's response, ever transforming, ever moving forward. The canvas is endless, the possibilities vast. The question is no longer whether you'll create, but how far you're willing to let your work go. Keep building, keep pushing, and above all, keep creating because the world is waiting for what only you can bring to it.